Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the woman wise as Athena, stronger than Heracles, swift as Hermes, and beautiful as Aphrodite. Sculpted from clay because her mother longed for a child that she had carried centuries before, and then I guess she died because she was reincarnated. She was sculpted from clay, and the gods then gave her life. The only child ever born on Themyscira. That's right, we're talking about Wonder Woman. So we're actually going to talk about her creator, William Moulton Marston. He was a psychology professor, jack of all trades. He helped create the blood pressure test that's used in the lie detector test. And he pitched the idea to Charles Gaines, writer of Superman, Superman's publisher, and by saying basically this, his words: a male hero at best lacks the qualities of maternal love and tenderness, which are as essential to a normal child as the breath of life. Suppose your child's ideal becomes a Superman who uses his extraordinary power to help the weak. The most important ingredient in the human happiness recipe is still missing: love. It's smart to be strong, it's big to be generous, but it's sissified according to exclusively masculine roles to be tender, loving, affectionate, and alluring. Aw, that's girl stuff, snorts our comics reader. Who wants to be a girl? And that's the point. Not even girls want to be girls, so long as our feminine archetype lacks force, strength, power. Not wanting to be girls, they don't want to be tender, submissive, peace-loving, as good women are. Women's strong qualities have become despised because of their weak ones. The obvious remedy is to create a feminine character with all the strength of Superman, plus all the allure of a good and beautiful woman. So Gaines decided this is a good idea because at the time, comics were getting a bad rap for violence. And he told him, if we bring out this female superhero, this could look really good. So he greenlighted it, saying we can always drop it if it fails. And people loved it. She got big. However, in 1947, both Marsden and Gaines died. So the writing was switched off to... Well, Marsden's wife wanted it, but the editor said no. Instead, writer Robert, and I'm sorry if I butcher this, Kanigher, the guy behind most of the company's war-related titles at the time, revamped her original story, making her, oh, that's right, she was married to Steve Trevor in this new thing. The cover depicts her wearing yellow ballet shoes, being carried by him. Her beau at the time, actually, not quite married. However, this didn't take as well, and the rest of the old guard, as it were, died, and she moved on with a new team. And he actually, Kanigher, however you say his name, wrote for the longest run for a writer of Wonder Woman to date, 20 years. However, then the comic book industry was told under the series of hearings that, where is it? The comics couldn't contain reference to anything cruel, kinky, unconventional, or homosexual. So she became kind of lame. This is called the Diana Prince era. And she abandoned her superpowers and ran a mod-style clothing boutique, fell under the tutelage of a kung fu master named I Ching. So she was still doing some cool stuff. She was a babysitter, fashion model, and movie star, and wife to Steve Trevor. And her best friend, Ida Candy, was killed off, and the Wonder Woman of history, a 4-page insert that detailed the lives and accomplishments of stellar real-life women, was replaced with one called Marriage a la Mode. which focused on life romantic. So this was kind of like her. This was when they were trying to control the comic books and not let women rise up kind of deal. And it wasn't just about Wonder Woman. There was other things in the comics books as well. However, she landed her own television show after, because people are like, what the heck happened? She changed her design. She became more like a doll instead of like a hero. So she landed her own television show, Lynda Carter, and that was kind of her comeback for that. What she brought to life really influenced her later comics. She brought Wonder Woman back as a strong female icon. And this is when DC Comics ended up dropping most of their comic series because they were failing and just kept the big three: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. And then they made some other minor comics with like other stories because people were just kind of bored. But eventually they all went back to superheroes. And then Wonder Woman was brought back on top. Now, later she would get all the way back to her origin story. But at the time, there was this huge confusion in comic books. So they made this series called Crisis on Infinite Earths. And if you don't read comics, it's like, God, what the hell is happening? And if you do read comics, it's like, oh, lifesaver, because I've been trying to follow this and I can't even though I've been reading the comics since the beginning. I've been studying them. I've been trying to piece this puzzle together. And then they kind of divided the universe into pre-crisis and post-crisis. And if you see anything in DC Comics, you'll always see a little something about that Infinite Crisis, which was actually kind of a cool comic series. I actually really enjoyed what I read from there. I didn't get to read all of it, but I read quite a bit. So anyway, later on, in like modern age of DC Comics, they came back with The Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, and at the time this was like things started to go towards the darker end where we see comics more today. And they were kind of like, how do we bring Wonder Woman, this visual of basically purity and light, to the dark side? So they dropped Diana Prince's idea and kind of returned her back to her origin story of being made from clay, which is actually a really good move in my opinion, because that's a better origin story than just Diana Prince. And then she kind of tried to resolve things before letting it go into violence. However, the way they brought her to the dark side is her outfit. They changed her outfit, made it a little more scandalous. Then we had this writer named Jimenez. He made comic books, and he brought the show basically into the comic books, which people loved because it's like, this is the Wonder Woman I loved, and now you're bringing her back to the books that I love to read. And this kind of is how Wonder Woman made her back to a strong female icon. And the Wonder Woman in these comic books were like, just like Lynda Carter, basically. Then eventually she got her first woman writer, Gail Simone, who like let loose the tiger. That's how we brought her back. Enjoy the look. See you again later.